Hello and welcome to Joanne's Healing Within. I am your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, student of astrology, master of numerology, and eventually that's going to change because I've been studying astrology. So, stay tuned for that. Anyway, I'm also the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast deck, which is what I give you your insight on based on what's going on in the world and with you on a personal level. Today, I have an amazing guest to share with you. But before we dive into all that, there's so much to cover today. Oh my God. Let's start off by saying happy, happy, happy New Year's 2021, the vibration of 5. And for those who have not been watching my show on a regular basis or haven't caught my lives on my Facebook page, the 5 is all about the change, the freedom, and the surprisingly unexpected unpredictability that's going to show up as we wait patiently. Recognizing that when you are waiting, surprises show up. You may end up waiting at that bus stop and surprisingly meeting somebody that shares some amazing insight with you that changes your life. So I want you to be open to those unexpected moments of waiting, sitting patiently and waiting. With that being said, I'd like to remind you to share, like, and comment on today's show. And again, for those who've missed any of my episodes, feel free to go and check us out on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and also YouTube. So, where am I and what am I doing on this first Sunday of the new year? Today is January 3rd, 2021. And I'm so excited. So excited. I want to give a shout out to all of my advertising sponsors that make this show possible. And there's a list of them, plus a flyer with their information on it, should you want to reach out to any of them. We're going to start off with Kendrick Greer, who's our astrologer, one of the best, only from my point of view, one of the best amazing astrologers there are. And he's seriously my mentor and friend. Then we have Diana Brad, who is our business consultant. I highly recommend you connect with her because she definitely provides amazing insight on how to get your business flowing and floating after 2020. And many of us are going to need her. Then we have the 3 Crones and the Woo Woo, which you can tune in every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time and catch me and my other 2 pals who have the woo woo. We share a lot of woo woo there. Then Nick Rafter. He's our journalist, our writer, and editor. For all of us who are going to be writing those books or starting a magazine or even a blog, connect with him. Then our famous Natad Bradley. He's a mystic, master teacher, and the founder of the Mystic Warrior Academy. Doing great work with him. He's doing great work for everybody. So check him out. Then Dee Hampel, who's our founder of Dee Hampel Associates and Consulting. She was actually my guest 2 weeks ago. She shared some amazing insight on this amazing journal that she created, and I advise you to go check that out too. And Vijana Sun, who is our subconscious mind specialist, intuitive business coach, and the co-creator alignment of and the co-creator alignment academy. And again, as I mentioned, we have an amazing guest showing up today, which you've definitely met her plenty of times before because she's been here numerous of times. And we're going to get into her in a little while. Let's set the energy for today as we are on January 3rd, 2021. That 2021 has a very different vibration than 2020. I am hoping that each and every one of you are experiencing this higher frequency of energy that we've experienced than we experienced in 2020, where 2020 was a 4 energy year, which was really about breaking down the old foundation to build a new foundation. You cannot possibly build a new foundation over the garbage of old foundation. So it's very much needed for each and every one of us to break down that foundation and move into a new way of doing things, which translates into this 5 energy year of change, freedom, and the very graciously pleasant unpredictability that's going to show up this year. And I want you to keep that in mind because my guest today is going to be sharing some major insight about this energy that's showing up this year. But before we go there, let's see what we need to know regarding our chakras. Because I truly believe anything we are looking to step into or transition into, we have to clear any blocks that might be preventing us from being in that space of receiving the very thing we're looking to have. Because every one of us has the ability to receiving everything we desire. But in order to receive the thing you're looking to desire, you have to be that person already, as though you're already receiving. When you're in the waiting space, that means you're not being the person that's receiving. I know that might sound a little confusing, but food for thought. In order to receive the very thing you're looking to that you desire, you have to be that person already. Otherwise, you're just in waiting and not in that alignment. So think about that. And to help you get to that space of being that person, let's see what chakra needs your attention. The chakra that needs your attention, interesting card. The chakra is the sacral chakra, which makes a lot of sense. In fact, I was actually working with this chakra this morning in my yoga class with my group, where the sacral energy is really about the things we are birthing. So I'd like you to really think about the number 5 and think about there are 5 seeds literally sitting in your sacral energy. Those 5 seeds are representing the things you wish to create in 2021. One of those seeds might very well be your confidence. You want to create more confidence in knowing that you have the ability to create whatever it is you want to create. So confidence is key component. So birth it, water it, and let it be. Show up the way you want the world to see you. Now, the affirmation is health. And I think that's really important because if we learned anything about 2020 and still learning it, is our health is extremely important. When our health is on track, we are capable of literally fighting off everything, especially in the immune system. We have to make sure our immune system is strong and healthy. So when these different viruses do show up, as they will, you're strong enough to beat it. Your hidden message, the number, is 33. Now, those of you who know about numerology, 33 is one of our master numbers. 33 is a master creator. What are you creating in 2021? The 3 represents our communication, how we're expressing ourselves, what it is we are creating, but also what it is we are teaching one another, and what it is we are learning from one another. I truly believe every one of us, as a oneness, come together in this huge classroom called the universe, and we are learning and teaching each other things. And it's really important that we do learn something every single day about ourselves. And each person that comes into your path is a reflection of what it is you're learning about yourself. And you're a reflection of what they're learning about themselves. So that 3 energy is exactly that: creating, expressing, teaching, and learning. The double 3 works out to be a 6 energy. That 6 energy is really healing. How do you want to heal? How do you want to be the healer? And again, that 33 is a master number, so it's a master creator. You are creating something amazing this year in 2021. And yes, I mean, grant you, when we think about the process of changing over the calendar, yes, you could have woke up on New Year's Day saying, okay, so I don't feel any different than I did in 2020. Or you woke up on New Year's Day saying, wow, this is magnificent. This is amazing. I feel powerful. I feel stronger. I feel taller. I feel optimistic. I feel as though anything is possible. So it really depends on you and your mindset and you being what it is you want to create. Because again, you must be the person of what it is you wish to desire. Otherwise, if you are waiting for that desire to be created, you are not being that person. So I invite you to create the deepest desires, but you have to be that person. It's not about waiting to receive it in order to be it. It's about actually being it in the moment, so you could be in perfect alignment of receiving. For those of you who have any knowledge about the law of attraction, LOA, it is really about the ask, the believe, and when you believe, you've already received. It's not about ask and believe and then wait to receive. Did you get that? It's not about ask, believe, then wait to receive. It's about ask, believe, and know you've already received it, because that's what it's about. So anything you are asking for, anything, whatever those intentions are, you have to truly believe in your soul, in your heart, in your mind, in your entire being that you already have it. Because if you're sitting there waiting for it to show up, you are in total resistance of not having it yet. So when you're asking, Be in that space of believing it's already here and start acting as though it is. With all that being said, again, I'd like to remind you to share, like, and comment on today's show. And I'm going to be taking a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I will have my guest here, and I'm so excited to share her with you and all the amazing magical work she's going to provide today. We'll be right back.
Hi there, my name is Sherry Simpson. As an intuitive business guide, I help female service-based business owners to grow their business using their intuition, helping you to release the blocks and limits preventing your growth and allowing you to get the aligned action steps to take to grow your business. You can reach me at sherrysimpson.com, SHERRI at sherrysimpson, SIMPSON.com. I look forward to helping you grow your business soon. Namaste.
Hey, it's Dee Hample of Dee Hample and Associates Consulting. I am so excited to bring to you today a brand new program I've just created called Maximizing Marketing and Money 365, helping you keep more of the money you make. It walks you through 365 days, yes, you guessed right, of business building strategies and tips, starting with your business plan all the way through to your marketing strategy and advertising. If this is something that resonates with you and you want to know more about it, go to www.maximizingmarketingmoney.com. Thanks. Bye.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just joining, remember, share, like, and comment. And I am your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. And before I introduce my guest, who's right here with me, I just want to recap on our card for today because I do believe it's important. Because of this amazing energy we have going on, the chakra associated is the sacral energy. And for those who were with me before the commercial break, I asked you to think about the number 5 and having 5 seeds. And of course, you can have more, but let's start with 5 seeds that you are going to birth this year, this day, whatever it might be for you. But we're going to start with 5, and they'll multiply and triply and however other way you can say it. But know that those 5 seeds, one of those seeds are all about your confidence, because you need to have confidence this year to really step in to all the changes, all the freedom, and the amazing, magnificent unpredictability that's going to show up as we wait. Those waiting moments are going to bring surprises that's going to lead you to where you need to go. So with that being said, I want to introduce my amazing guest. It's been here more times than I can count, but her first time in 2021, which I'm really excited to have her as my first guest for 2021. When I decided to come on for 2021, my whole mission for my show is to bring on really amazing guests who have so much insight to share with each and every one of you. And Sherry was the first person I thought about. I'm like, who's going to make an impact and who's really going to help the viewers today, specifically today, because today is, I like to think of today as the first day of the new year, even though we're on the 3rd. So Sherry Simpson, our intuitive guide, how are you today? And Happy New Year to you.
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me, and Happy New Year to you as well.
Yes, yes. Now, before we dive in, because, you know, I'm always curious. Now, behind you, is that a mirror or a window?
It's a mirror.
It's an interesting mirror.
I'm reflecting back to people who they are.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, so today Sherry's going to be sharing all about how limiting beliefs keep us stuck, which is why I said this is an important show, because I think it's really great to dive into this on the 3rd day of January, so you can really, really take what she teaches you today and apply it, so you're not tripping up and saying to yourself, as we move to the end of this year, saying, it didn't complete what I wanted to complete. So, Sherry, in regards to you being an intuitive guide, for our viewers who are watching for the first time, because I'm sure we have a lot of new people, just explain what that is. What's an intuitive guide?
Absolutely. In terms of what I do and who I help other people access their own intuition, and I also access mine. So then we have this collective relationship of intuition that is available to guide us wherever we want to go.
Awesome, awesome. So with that being said, let's talk about what are limiting beliefs.
Limiting beliefs are, in simple terms, thoughts you keep thinking. So if you have a thought, you think of this thought bubble that's above your head. If the thought is, I'm really good at what I do, then the belief is, I'm really good at what I do, because you think the thought over and over again. But if the belief is, I suck at what I do, then the belief is that I'm not good enough, I suck at what I do. You are perpetuating the belief. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. It does, yes. Makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to the viewers.
Me too.
Yes, yes. So when one is in that space, even if they're in that space of saying that they are great at what they do, could that have any stuckness to it if they're thinking it but not acting on it?
It's a really good question, because what I find is that when people are connecting to source and they're raising their vibration, but they're still acting in old ways, it's as though they're creating this separation, which can actually make them feel worse, because, and I'll say refusing to act, they're refusing to act in alignment with who they are now.
Now, how can one actually, I'm going to use the word change, that mindset of, as you just said, acting as who they are now? Like, how do they even realize they're doing this?
Usually it comes down to feeling. So when you have a thought, it will trigger an emotion within you. If that emotion feels really good, then the truth is that you're in alignment with how your higher self and your source sees the situation. So a good feeling means I'm in alignment with the truth. A bad feeling would therefore be the opposite. I'm not in the same feeling, I'm not in the same belief as what the actual truth from source's perspective is.
Makes sense. I got that.
So in order to change it, you need to be open and aware of the feelings and know that you get to control them. You have the feeling, that means you can choose another thought. You can choose to look at the perspective of source looking into your life, rather than you being the human wondering if you're not good enough.
Makes sense. Now, a question that's coming up intuitively, it's not on your list of questions, but
Okay.
And I know that there's a lot of people out there who have this limited belief in reference to money. I think that's like a big one, where a lot of people walk around with the whole concept of they don't feel they have either enough money, or they don't feel like they have the right to charge a certain amount of money. We're going both ends. People who are, let's say, in the entrepreneur space, and they're just not charging what they're worth, or the customer that wants to take on the service, but they don't feel they're worthy of what that price is. How do they go about that? Both ends.
Well, a lot of times we humans like to know where it came from. So for me, I always like to know, is this mine? So is this my true belief? Is it my true thought? Or did I get it from society, or from a teacher, or from a parent, or from whoever else? So if it came from someone else, then I get to choose. Do I really want to continue believing this? With money, it is very interesting, because there's a whole bunch of kind of gunk that a lot of people learned when they were growing up. Money doesn't grow on trees. Spirituality, if you're spiritual, then you don't deserve money, or you don't get to have money. I only need enough to pay my bills. So people are stuck at that level where they never have more than enough. And usually it will come down to you choosing what you want to believe. And I know it's not that easy necessarily, because we've been believing these things that have been creating a yucky reality for us for a long time. So we need to start redirecting and saying, well, I know. So basically you have to convince yourself that the new belief is better for you.
Now, in regards to, because again, there's just the downloads that I'm getting, it's like they're working themselves right now. But in regards to those who are quote unquote retired, and in their mindset, they're like, okay, I'm living off this retirement plan that I've set out for myself financially. This is what I'm allowed to work with. This is what my quote unquote budget is. So my budget doesn't allow me to have X amount of money to do X amount of what? How does one break that belief?
Essentially, it's about you pigeonholing yourself into this person. So you mentioned earlier in the show that you are becoming a new version of yourself. So that person has to see themselves from a different perspective, that they could win the lottery, they could create a job, they could receive money from someone who passed away, and they have, there's a whole bunch of ways if you allow it. So when people are pigeonholing and saying this is the only way money's allowed to come to me, then that's your truth.
Yeah, so it is really about changing the mindset of what your old beliefs are and really moving into a different way of looking at things.
Yeah, so the way that I like to kind of perceive it for myself, imagine that you are the person who you want to be, the person who has the health, makes all the money, has all the friends, everything you want, the travel, everything. What does that person need to be thinking about themselves and about the world in order to be where they are?
Now, how much work actually goes into this whole process of having to sort of I'm going to use the word, retrain your brain to get into this new mindset of a new belief? How much work goes into that?
How much work goes into brushing your teeth every day?
Oh, good question.
Right? So, I mean, if you're doing it anyway, why not do it in a way that's going to create more positivity and gratitude and love for yourself, rather than doing it in a way that's going to create more lack, more struggle, more fear, more doubt?
Yes, yes. Like I was listening this morning to something on Facebook, and the presenter said something about be the person who has the desire. But in order to have the desire, you have to be that person. So if you're in that waiting space or waiting for the desire, it means you're not being the person, which can be very confusing for some. It's like, what? Like I have to be that person? It don't, again, because I watch you a lot, listen to you a lot in reference to the law of attraction. And it really is all about that, the asking portion, which we're really good at asking. However, most of us get a little tripped up on the believing that we can have it, because it's like they think they have to wait to have it. And that's where, again, the beliefs come in. So if you're waiting to have something that you've asked for, it's like, okay, so you're not believing that you can have it because you're waiting for it, correct?
Yeah, and I think it will come back to feeling. So if someone says, I want to make $500,000 this year, and it feels like sinking and heavy and terrifying, then we know that they don't have the positive belief. They don't believe it's true because the energy is saying it's not.
Yeah, I would think that somebody who wants to, let's say, make $500,000 for the year might be setting out to say, you know what, I'm going to go take a traveling trip because I have this money already. Being in that mindset of already having it, so booking it sort of like in advance and not worrying about whether or not it's coming.
Yes and no. You can do that, but still not believe that it's coming at some level.
Oh, okay. So it still has that resistance of I'm going to do it, but then there's still resistance of receiving it.
Yeah, and the way that I find that people do this is that they do something. I mean, we do everything because we think that we'll feel better when we have it. That's why we have all these desires. We're always thinking, I'm going to feel better when I have this thing. But the issue, the kind of sticky part, is that people will believe that the thing that they want will fix them.
Oh, yeah.
And that's an icky feeling, right? You don't want to do something because you think it will make you complete. You have to be complete already before you can do the thing.
Makes sense. And as you know, everything goes really fast on our show. So we do need to take a commercial break. So let the viewers know how they can reach you.
You can reach me on Facebook. I am at Sherry.Simpson on Facebook. So facebook.com/Sherry.Simpson.
Awesome. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but stay with us because we'll be right back.
Hi there, my name is Sherry Simpson. As an intuitive business guide, I help female service-based business owners to grow their business using their intuition, helping you to release the blocks and limits preventing your growth and allowing you to get the aligned action steps to take to grow your business. You can reach me at sherry@sherrysimpson.com, SHERRI@sherrysimpson.com. I look forward to helping you grow your business soon. Namaste.
Hey, it's Dee Hample of Dee Hample and Associates Consulting. I am so excited to bring to you today a brand new program I've just created called Maximizing Marketing and Money 365, helping you keep more of the money you make. It walks you through 365 days, yes, you guessed right, of business building strategies and tips, starting with your business plan all the way through to your marketing strategy and advertising. If this is something that resonates with you and you want to know more about it, go to www.maximizingmarketingmoney.com. Thanks. Bye.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I am your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, and I have my amazing guest, Sherry Simpson, who is our intuitive guide and sharing with you on limiting beliefs and how they keep you stuck. So, where do we store those damn limiting beliefs?
because thoughts create, they're actually in our minds, and then what happens is they kind of get sunk into our energy field. So we could be starting to think thoughts like I'm really good at what I do, but if it's still sunk into the energy field, then there's still this like wonkiness that isn't in 100% alignment.
Yes. So and I know it's a little too soon for this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If you could share like a really quick tip, because sometimes our viewers have to run to the bathroom or whatever not, but if you can share a really quick tip on one thing you've experienced in your own, and I know I was just watching one of your lives, so this is where this is coming from. One thing that you have experienced that helped you create something that maybe you had, which I don't believe you ever have a limited belief, but we'll pretend that you had a limiting belief about something, but sharing a tip on how you shifted that so you can move into what it is you wanted to believe.
In terms of the beliefs, I believe we all have them because we all are living the life we're living right now, and the beliefs created that life. So if I want to live a different life, it means that I have to believe something different.
Okay.
So in order for me to shift things, what I have found is that you can shift things on the spiritual level. So you can do energy work to shift things. You could shift things mentally. So you could keep doing things like affirmations that are trying to shift your mind, or you could do some subconscious belief stuff like hypnosis to shift at the mind level or the mental level. You could shift your feelings. So one way to do that might be like literally 3 times a day when your alarm goes off on your phone, you're going to get up and dance. And that's just going to be something that's going to break the pattern. And so then you can shift doing it. Yeah, and then you can shift emotionally, because usually dancing makes people feel good, so your emotions change. And then you can shift things physically. So the way that I recommend it is for people to shift things at all levels and not work with just one. What I found personally is that when I try to work in my Akashic records and I do nothing else, I get nothing, because I haven't actually shifted at the other levels to allow the change to happen.
So all 4 elements are important to change. Now, not everyone, although everyone does, but they may not think they do, has we'll say the spiritual knowledge, so to speak, to doing the spiritual work. So, I mean, your phone will ring off the hook if everyone decided, oh, you know what, I have to reach out to Sherry for her to help me do this, because they have the limited belief that they can't do it on their own. And I'm sure you would love for your phone to ring off the hook, but at some point in your day, you'd also like to have a little rest. So how can you help those who might have the limited belief of thinking, well, I don't have the spiritual power or the magic to do that shift, spiritually speaking? What does that look like?
Well, for me, I would connect into higher self. I would connect into my guides. I would connect into universe, source, God. And that could be my connection to the spiritual place. So I could do a meditation where I connect to my higher self, and that's enough for me to connect at that spiritual level.
Okay. Now, again, I'm just getting all these crazy downloads. We have viewers here who do not know how to meditate, and they don't really know how to connect with their higher self. How would they do that? other than meditation, because they may not know how or whatever the case is. But again, your phone's ringing off the hook because they're going to be reaching out to you for this. But how would they be able to do this like immediately when they jumped off the show today?
It's a really good question. And what just came to me while you were speaking was two things. One, we're not really looking to connect with higher self or universe outside of ourself. It's actually inside. So people who have some spiritual or religious background, they could pray, but they would have to do it from the perspective of praying from themselves rather than something outside of self.
Okay.
And then in terms of the other perspective, literally just making the choice to ask yourself for something different.
Oh, I like that. So it's almost, I actually do like that. It's almost at a point where it's giving themselves permission that it's not theoretically it's not an outside source to begin with, but sometimes when people are not aligned with that whole concept of going within, it's like literally saying, well, how can I give this to myself in a different way, right?
Love that.
And now it's now them making that decision to say, okay, so this is what I'm choosing to do today so I can have this thing that once upon a time I believe I wasn't allowed to have or couldn't have or didn't have enough to have it.
Yeah, and if you think about it from the other perspective, if you don't have the $500,000 year and that's what you want, there's a piece of you that's been choosing not to have it. So you want to ask yourself, why am I not choosing to allow myself to have what I want?
Now, when you had said that, the minute you said that, the first thing I felt for a lot of people, including myself, and this is a limited belief that I had many years back, which you have done some work with me to help me with that. I think the first thing that came to a lot of people's mind is like, wow, $500,000. Wow, that's something that I would like to really have. But oh my God, what would I do if I actually had it? Like, holy sugar. And I noticed I didn't curse. Like, what would I do if I really had that? Like, because sometimes we think we want something, but then when we actually have it, sometimes it scares the bejesus out of us. So how do we help that person where it's like, because sometimes we actually hold ourselves back from having things because it's like, oh my God, well, what if I did have this?
It does. And you want to think about, am I afraid to succeed? Am I afraid of being judged by others? Am I afraid of being rejected or abandoned? What does it actually mean about me to have what I want? Interesting.
Yes. And I think all of that's really important because I think that's sometimes what holds us back. Whereas it's like, if you take that moment just to visualize yourself having it, and then you start to think about like, what would I do with all of that if I had it? Now I have this damn responsibility of like, okay, now I have all of this. What am I supposed to do?
But if you think about it, let's think about it just in the terms of money. When you don't have enough money for yourself or you have just enough, can you donate to charities? Can you do anything for anyone else? You can't. So when you allow yourself to have way more, you have the opportunity to choose how that money is spent, but you can help so many more people.
Exactly. And something that's coming up again, the download, which we're going to come away from money for just a moment, although I'm sure the viewers are really liking the fact that we're talking about money, because that's usually what we all relate to. But in reference to like 2020, what every one of us had an opportunity of getting in 2020, which was time. Because many people prior to 2020 would complain about not having enough time, because they would want to have time to do this and time to do that. And here we had 300, did we have a leap year in 2020?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. So we had 365 days of time. Well, not 365 days because it actually started more in like March, but we'll just keep it at that number because it's an easy number to remember. Here we had time. So every one of us who were putting out the energy of having more time, hey, guess what? You created time. So the big question is, what did they do with that time that they had time? And many people said they're complaining about now they had too much time.
Yeah.
So it really goes to the factor that, and I think a part of this is also having each and every one of us really evaluate what it is we're looking to really have. Like, what are our desires and why are those our desires? Like, where do our desires come from?
It's basically about what you value.
Okay, but where do they come from though? Like, do we just wake up one day? Like, for example, me saying, okay, I want to expand my business and, have 3 new locations. Like, I woke up one day and said, well, that's what I want to do. Where do they come from?
So it's 2 different things, in my opinion. One of them is it does depend on whether you're internally motivated and you decide from within what you want, or if you're externally motivated and you see other people who have what you want. But it also depends on what you're deserving or what you feel you're deserving. So if you feel that you're only deserving, as an example, of 1 location, then you're never going to allow yourself to have 3 locations.
Yes, and it's really interesting because forget how far back, but far back, that had shown up at one point or another where I was supposed to have, and I don't know if I want to use the word supposed to, but anyway, whatever the case is, supposed to have multiple locations. And I always sort of poo-pooed it away, like, yeah, I want to just, put the energy into this one location and just do that in this one location, because I just couldn't visualize my location and then expanding it out to having other people in the space to do what I'm doing. But interesting enough, as we were coming away from 2020, I was actually sitting with one of my guests who was on my show a couple of weeks back doing a business plan. And there came that idea again. It's like, okay, she's like, well, what is your desire? And it just I literally spit it out. I'm like, I'd like to have 3 additional spaces. And she's like, great, let's talk about it. And, and I'm like, it's back again? Like, where did that come from? So yeah, so now I'm hoping, I'm going to sit in that space of believing that I'm going to track that energy and believe that I have them already, and then just start seeing how it comes through. So who knows?
Well, interestingly enough, when you were saying that, it was almost as though I could see or imagine your energy field. And what happened was it was present in your energy field a while ago, but it actually kind of shrunk in your energy field. So it was still there. It just, you weren't feeding it.
So basically what I'm hearing you say is that now I'm thinking about it again, the thought's there. So now it's a matter of feeding that thought and creating it so it can become my reality.
Absolutely. You have to be before you can have.
Mm-hmm. So seeing in my space 3 different locations and just visualizing and just pretending, so to speak, is what I'm hearing. Pretending as though, yes, no?
Yeah, what I was going to say is you mentioned earlier something about a fear of responsibility of having more. So that is something that I would want to recommend to you. If you want 3 locations, then it has to feel like that's a responsible thing to do and you can handle the responsibility of it, or else you won't allow it.
Yes. Well, what I see from that is that theoretically I'm going to delegate.
Cool.
Going to delegate, where, yes, it's my name on the business, but delegating and giving people responsibilities to help me expand my vision is what I'm hearing.
Very cool.
And seeing how that works. And seeing if I can get off this platform of this one location and pushing out. And not just 3 locations, but expanding in other ways as well. So the big vision, and and I'm not going to say it's going to be something that's going to take a whole year to do. I'm going to really collapse it and see if I can get this happen sooner than later. Yes.
That's really interesting because we were talking about time a little bit ago. So time is a human concept. It doesn't exist in terms of the universe.
Yes.
So when you say that you want to collapse time, that's totally possible. And it's about you believing that when you ask for something, it's automatically given. And the more you align to it, the closer it comes.
Exactly. And I'd like you to repeat that one more time before we take a commercial break, because I'm hearing that someone needs to hear that besides myself.
So essentially, time is a human concept. And when you believe in time, the universe doesn't believe in it. So when you ask for something, it's automatically given. Somewhere in the universe, the thing that you want exists. So in some dimension, you already have 4 locations.
All right.
The goal is for you to align in your energy to already having 4 locations, and then it becomes your reality.
Excellent. And for our viewers, I'm hoping you caught that too, because this is not just for me. This is for everyone watching. This is Sherry's free gift to all of you. Those of you who are looking to expand, it's not just for me. So Sherry, just let the viewers know how they can reach you.
You can reach me on Facebook at Sherry.Simpson. That's SHERRI.SIMPSON.
Awesome. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to have a little more talk about this limiting belief stuff. And then I'm going to give Sherry a reading if she's open to it. We'll be right back. Hello, are you an entrepreneur, healer, author, publisher, life coach, or living in purpose? I am Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, the host of Joanne's Healing Within TV show, and I am currently accepting guest applications for those of you who are ready to shine your light, inspire others, and share your story, and step in front of a much larger audience such as Roku, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, and of course Facebook. I am currently offering special rates for those of you who are interested in inspiring others and shining your light. Email your bio and story to healingwithin76@gmail.com.
Hi, my name is Diana Brandt. I'm a business consultant. If you always wanted to be an entrepreneur and you've got these dreams, you no longer have to have them in your head. I help you with the steps. I'm offering a 15-minute complimentary call, and you can reach me at diana.caremore@gmail.com. Thank you for the opportunity.
Hello, my name is Nick Rafter, journalist, writer, editor. I'm happy to be offering copy editing and line editing services at competitive industry rates. If you have a book or any document that needs to be edited and thoroughly looked through, please contact me at nickrafter@gmail.com. Let's discuss how to get that work done. That's Nick Rafter, NICKRAFTER, @gmail.com. I hope to hear from you soon.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just joining now, share, like, comment. I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I have my amazing guest here, Sherry Simpson, who's our intuitive guide. And we've been chatting about limiting beliefs. And you really want to cut them out because they're going to hold you back. So if you are looking to create whatever it is you're looking to create in 2021, and even going forward beyond 2021, you definitely want to let go of those beliefs. So Sherry, with that, I know we've shared a lot of tips on how to get rid of the beliefs. How do you, let's see, I think one of the questions, which we'll dive into one of the questions for the last segment of the show, how do we reprogram them in reference to the beliefs? How do we reprogram them?
So we kind of talked about this a little. So you want to do things differently, you want to think things differently, and you want to feel things differently. And so I kind of said those in the way that they're out of order. A lot of times we think something, and then what happens is that will trigger a feeling within us, and that feeling will dictate if we act or how we act. So basically, when you change the chain, you change the thought, you change the feeling, you change the action, something has to change.
Now, question, in regards to individuals, how do they know they actually have a limited belief?
So let's go back to the feeling. So if I decided that I wanted to, we'll use money again because it's just an easy example. So I want to make $500,000 this year. I've never made $500,000 in the past. A piece of me could choose to believe that I can't do it because I've never done it before. But it's not really true because I know that everything is possible. I know that I'm a creator. I know that other people have done it. So why is it not possible for me? So did you see how I took the negative belief and tried to reprogram it to allow me to believe something else?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think also the whole concept of the individual recognizing this, just because they couldn't do it before doesn't mean they can't do it now. Yeah. And as you've said too, and I always like to use this person as my great example, Oprah. You know, if she can do all the things that she's done, and from my point of view, she is just as special as we are. Each and every one of us is special. So if she can do it, we can do it too.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the mindset of saying, you know, I can have this thing and that thing, you know, but also going to the point of like, does it really matter in reference to that someone wanting to have it? Like, why do they want to have it? Does the why have anything to do with anything?
Good question. The why is essentially my motivator. So if I want to have it because it's prestige and I think I'll look good, I'm probably not going to be motivated to do it.
So from what I'm understanding, so now if in the why, if it's ego driven, does that slow it down any or does that speed it up? How's that work?
It depends on your ego. So I could be ego driven and say, you know, I want to make $500,000 because I want to build a $500,000 house. If that's truly my desire, and if I think about the $500,000 in building that house and it feels good, I'm going to be motivated to do it. So even though it might seem ego driven, if it feels good, it's still good.
Oh, okay. So it's not a matter of it because it's the ego driven that it has a low vibration to it. As long as it's a feel good feeling behind that ego, it will help them do what they want to do.
That's the way I believe it. Absolutely. Because your feelings are going to dictate whether you're in alignment with source or out of alignment.
Makes sense. I love this. I love this. Anything else you want to share about limiting beliefs?
You get to create them. So one of the things that I was mentioning on my live earlier was that what we have right now is like this box that we're currently in. And in order to have something else, we have to get rid of the box. We have to leave the box. So it's about your comfort zone. So essentially, the thought of people making 500,000 a year if they've only made 50,000 in a year, that's a pretty big jump. It's a huge jump leaving your comfort zone to go that far. It doesn't have to be a huge jump, but for us humans, it tends to feel like it is.
And just imagine what your accountant will think.
That's right. That's right.
If at the time when you have to do taxes in the previous year you've only made 50,000, and now all of a sudden he's calculating your paperwork and he's like, how on earth did you make $500,000 in a year?
Yeah.
Can you share the secret?
Yeah. I'm in something right now. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called My $1 Million Experiment. So for all of 2021, there are almost 3,000 of us who are in this experiment with the goal being to create $1 million by the end of the year.
Interesting. I'll have to talk to you about that. And then I want to sit back and ask myself, if I want to make $1 million.
That's it. That's it. Do you want to? Absolutely.
Yes, that's a good question. Do I want to make $1 million? Anybody would probably sit back and say, well, yeah, why would you not want to make $1 million? I see that face you have on your.
Well, I was thinking about you with 4 locations and how much money you'd be making. Isn't it totally possible for you to make $1 million when you have 4 locations?
Exactly. Which is why in my head, as soon as I said it, I'm like, hello, you'll be able to make it when you have your 4 locations. So hello. Yeah. Okay.
It's talking yourself into it.
Yes. Yeah. And reminding my viewers that I too am human. So yeah, I have those moments.
We all do.
So with that being said, let's dive into your reading. Are you open to one?
I am. Thank you.
All right. You know the drill. So what we're going to do here is I'd like you just to recite your full name out loud that's on your birth certificate, and then we'll see what you have in mind. And do you have an intention that you would like to put energy around for this reading today?
Sherry Lynn Simpson. And the intention is allowing more of my greatest good in.
Quite interesting, because this could definitely fall under your greatest good. May not be relating to business, but I think it's going to impact the business on the whole, because I truly believe once I share with you what the hell I'm talking about, you'll understand. It's the Queen and King card. Now, I know that you and I have had chatted plenty of times before in regards to your partner, your soulmate, the person that you're supposed to be spending your life with. And at one point or another, I believe that there was a destination of where you're supposed to meet this person. And this card is saying, based on the sacral energy, it's time to birth this. It's time to have that. It's time to do. And I truly believe that when our career is on track, which yours is, that everything else starts to just fall into place accordingly. Because I believe the career has to really be in alignment for everything else, where most people say, well, how about the partnership first? I feel that when we are fully content with our career, we are fully content with everything, so everything starts to fall in. So it's time to birth that and get to wherever it is. Now, I at one point or another, I believe that you had said that you had to go to a location to meet him. I believe you have the power and capability of bringing him where you are now. So you don't necessarily have to go there unless it's something that's going to serve you to go where he is. So that's what I believe, that you can actually start creating that relationship in. Mm-hmm. And your numbers 2, which is again that partnership that you have with him. And you've actually had this partnership with him in multiple past lives. Mm-hmm. So when you do actually get to meet him face to face again, it's going to be a reunion of what you've had in the past. So it's not gonna be like, oh, this new thing. You're gonna just sort of fall into whatever it was the two of you were doing in past lives. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, I concur with all of that.
Yes. And why I said, for our viewers, because your intention from the way I was feeling was more relating on business, but I also do believe that once the business is in alignment, which yours is, that this is the next thing.
Thank you. So, the other thing that flagged for me when you said king and queen is a balance with my own masculine and feminine energies as well.
Yes. Yeah, yes, which is really important too. And I'm glad you said that. When we think about the masculine and feminine energy, it really is, feminine is the intention, masculine is the action, and bringing those two together to balance it. Because we're really good at the setting the intentions, but then we allow our limiting beliefs to slow down the process of the action. So I'm hoping that card resonated with you.
It did. And I'm kind of laughing as you're talking about the masculine and feminine, because 2020 was a very masculine year, but 2021 is a feminine year.
Ah, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Awesome. So as usual, we have so much fun on our show, but it's come to the end. So let our viewers know how they can reach you one last time.
You can find me on Facebook at Sherry.Simpson, SHERRI.SIMPSON. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all that you shared, and I'm looking forward to having you on again and again and again, because we have much more to share together.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and I'll be back with the conclusion of today's show.
Hi everyone, I'm Natan Bredbury. I'm a veteran, Kabbalist, mystic, coach, and spiritual mentor. I've been blessed to help many students on their spiritual journey over the last 20 years. I am currently the founder of the Mystic Warrior Academy, and what we're doing is we're helping veterans heal from the inside out, overcome any sort of emotional trauma that they've been through. So if you're a veteran, a therapist, or a coach, and are interested in learning more about our program, you can contact us directly at info@mysticwarrioracademy.com. Blessings.
Hi there, my name is Sherry Simpson. As an intuitive business guide, I help female service-based business owners to grow their business using their intuition, helping you to release the blocks and limits preventing your growth, and allowing you to get the aligned action steps to take to grow your business. You can reach me at sherry@sherrysimpson.com, SHERRI@sherrysimpson.com. I look forward to helping you grow your business soon. Namaste.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just joining me, I am your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, and we are in the last final minutes of today's show. So I do ask that you go and check us out so you can catch the whole show again. You can catch us on immediately YouTube and also Amazon Fire TV and Roku, which will be a week later. But you can go and check us on the Strong Island Television once we air it later. But with all that being said, we got an amazing show today of shifting and changing your beliefs so you can create the things you want to have in your experience right now, because there's no such thing as time. I'd like to also invite you to come join me every Monday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time for our 11-minute meditation and one card pull. In that, we have amazing energy that goes on during meditation, and that too can help you shift your belief system and step into the things you're looking to create. I do not believe there's a flyer for this one, but if there is, it's great. If not, I'd also like to invite you to come join me in my magical moon ritual ceremony, which takes place twice a month for new moon and full moon. That takes place usually during the time of the new and full moon. The next one will take place on January 13th, which is the new moon in Capricorn energy. Got a brain fart there for a minute. If you're interested in joining us for that, you can do a single session, which is $33. Mention today's show and you're going to get $10 off that single session rate. And I do look forward to seeing every one of you next week. Enjoy the first week or second week of the new year in 2021. Till next week, if you need to reach me, feel free to email healingwithin76@gmail.com. And one final thing for all of you people out there who are entrepreneurs, healers, life coach, etc., looking to get your face and your story seen by a different bunch of people, I would love for you to email your bio and one thing you would love to share on our show as my guest. There is guest and advertising sponsorship opportunities available throughout 2021, and I would love for you to be one of my guests. Email healingwithin76@gmail.com. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye for now.